Good morning, everybody. Sorry for the inconvenience. Just a second. Okay. Hi. Hello. Good morning, everybody. My topic for today's presentation is treatment of beta thalassemia by Talens in a mouse model. So, in this PPT, in the first slide of the PPT, we will be talking about the gene editing tool. Yes, that is Talens, and these are some, these are some points related to Talens. So, this is an introduction slide basically. So, Talens, let me have my pen. So Talens basically, Talens are actually known as transcription activator like effector nucleases. So Talens also known as transcription activator like effector nucleases. Talens basically cut specific sequence of DNA, and as mentioned, it is much better than ZFN, and it also has two domains present. So Talens are site specific, and they target a particular nucleotide. So as mentioned, it is much better than ZFN. So ZFN is basically zinc finger nucleases, which is not as specific as Talens, because it does not target a specific sequence. It targets unlike Talens, it targets a codon, basically 3 nucleotide pair. And Talens also has two domains present. So the two domains present are DNA binding domain and DNA cleavage domain. So we are going to discuss this in detail in the next slide in the working mechanism. Okay, now as you can see here, produced by plant bacteria in Xanthomonas. Yes, Talens is produced by plant bacteria, Xanthomonas, and Xanthomonas uses the type 3 secretion system, which basically infects the plants, and it also it modulates host gene expression. So we are going to talk about this as well. Now we have RVD and double strand break repair. RVD is repeat variable diresidue, or you can say it is basically the amino acid residues at position 12 and 13, which gives Talens a target specificity to where it has to bind. DSB or double strand break repair, it is basically, it can be repaired by using these two mechanisms, that is NHEJ and homologous recombination. So NHEJ is non-homologous end joining. I am going to be talking about this. Homologous recombination was not in my research paper, so I am not going to discuss about this. Non-homologous end joining is in my article, so I am going to discuss about this. So in the next slide, I am going to talk about the diagrammatic representation for working of Talens. So the diagrammatic representation of Talens is shown here. So in this figure, as we can see, we have the double-stranded DNA. Then we have this monomeric units of Talens. Yes, you're right. This is the monomeric Talens, left monomeric unit of Talens, and this is the right monomeric unit of Talens. And in between we have this FOC1 nuclease. Okay, and then we have two domains, as I mentioned earlier. These two domains are DNA binding domain. So the DNA binding domain is from here to here. This is the DNA binding domain, and we have the DNA cleavage domain. So the DNA cleavage domain is basically a nuclease which cuts the DNA strands. Okay, so FOC1 is the DNA cleavage domain. Okay, we got it now. So in the monomeric unit of Talens, we can see the NTS and CTS. So this basically stands for the N terminal, and this stands for the C terminal, and the same goes for the right side of the right side monomeric unit of talens. Now here we can see the the red color represents the thymine, green color represents adenine, blue color represents cytosine, and yellow color represents guanine. So we have this we have this 4 nucleotides represented by different colors. So this is our RVD, or we can say repeat variable diresidues. Okay, so now I am going to be talking about tail protein here. This is the tail protein. So tail protein is transcription activator like effector proteins that can be engineered to bind to practically any desirable DNA sequence. So when it is combined with the nuclease, DNA can be cut at a specific location. Okay. The TAL effectors are proteins that are secreted by the Xanthomonas bacteria via their type 3 secretion system, which infects plants. Okay, the DNA binding domain contains a repeatedly this is the DNA binding domain. So it basically contains highly conserved 33 to 34 amino acid sequence, okay, that gets repeated again and again, with 12th and 13th pair as the divergent pair of the amino acids. Okay, the TAL effector is then fused with FOC1 nuclease. So this is our TAL effector. This is our TAL effector, or the DNA binding domain, which gets fused with FOC1 nuclease. Okay, so each of the 33 repeats in the DNA binding domain or the TAL effector region, okay, can differ by can differ by 2 amino acids, which determine which nucleotide will bind to by combining 12 to 31 of these repeats. So what happens is that now the DNA binding domain with RVD, okay, is fused with FOC1 nuclease, and the same process goes on here in the right hand side of the monomeric unit of talens. The FOC1 is fused here, and they both cut the DNA sequence by creating a spacer in between and leaving the sticky ends behind. Okay, so basically what happens is that in talens the double stranded break pair happens, as I said, by leaving the by leaving the sticky ends behind. So these double stranded break pairs can be repaired by NHEJ pathway. So this is basically the diagrammatic representation for working mechanism of NHEJ pathway. So NHEJ pathway is non-homologous end joining pathway, as I mentioned earlier. So the double-stranded break pair occurs, due to FOC1 nuclease to in order to dimerize it. So what happens is that for this pathway we need Ku70 and Ku80 proteins, which recruits the DNA protein kinase. This is the DNA protein kinase, that is PKC. In short, DNA PKC, DNA protein kinase. Okay, so these Ku70 and 80 proteins basically recruit this DNA protein kinase, and they together form a tight complex. So here they also help in clearing up of the ends. As I mentioned earlier that the sticky ends are left behind, so these are basically the clearing up of the sticky ends from the double-stranded break pair of DNA. So the Ku70 and 80 protein, when recruits the DNA PKCs, that is DNA protein kinase, did form a very tight complex, and in order to form a more tight complex they need to undergo phosphorylation. So during phosphorylation, So during the phosphorylation, they both grab the ends of the DNA, one on this end and one on this end. They both grab the ends of the DNA, and in the next step, the DNA ligase or the XRCC4 enzyme helps in the DNA ligation. That is, it helps in the joining of this double-stranded base pair DNA by joining these two parts. So what happens is, when these two parts are joined, the DNA ligase basically triggers the joining of both the ends, and ultimately the end result that we get here is the intact DNA with no damage. So this mechanism is basically an error prone mechanism, because in order to repair the double stranded break DNA, it is a good thing, because leaving the DNA strand unbroken, leaving the DNA strand like this, leaving the DNA strand unrepaired will not have a good will not be a good option. That's why we use this mechanism to join the double strand break and to get an intact DNA in the end, and it's that's why it is basically not a natural mechanism, and that's why it is known as an error prone mechanism. So in the next slide, we are going to talk about why genome editing is necessary for beta thalassemia. So in beta thalassemia, in beta thalassemia, as we know that thalassemia is an inherited autosomal recessive disease resulting from mutations in alpha globin and beta globin chain. Okay, alpha globin and beta globin gene clusters. Alpha globin and beta globin gene clusters in chromosome number 11 respectively. But here we are going to talk about beta thalassemia, so alpha thalassemia is not required. So it is characterized by the absence or reduced synthesis of globin chains of hemoglobin, and it includes two main types of beta thalassemia. So we have these two types of beta thalassemia, that is beta thalassemia minor, and one is beta thalassemia major. Okay, these are the two types of beta thalassemia that is occurring. So beta thalassemia is basically caused by the mutation in the HBB gene, as mentioned. So beta thalassemia are basically heterogeneous, okay, at the molecular level, and there are more than 200 disease causing mutations. The majority of the mutations in beta thalassemia are basically single nucleotide substitutions, deletions, or insertions of oligonucleotide, leading to frame shift mutations. Now we are going to talk about the cure or the clinical management of beta thalassemia. So the clinical management basically depends on blood transfusions and iron chelation therapy. So the cure for beta thalassemia is stem cell transplant. So the stem cell transplant is the only treatment that can cure this disease. And but what happens is, only a small number of people who have severe thalassemia are able to find a good donor, and which is basically limited by the availability of histocompatible donor, thus making gene therapy an attractive alternative for this treatment. So thalassemia can be cured by blood transfusions, iron chelation therapy, and it can also be cured by stem cell transplant. But we need this genome editing tool to cure this disease at the molecular level, so that it does not require all these kind of treatments. Now in the next slide, I am going to explain, and I am going to talk about I'm going to talk about Talens vectors, introduction of Talens vectors. So in this slide, we're going to talk about the construction of Talens vectors to efficiently delete the HBB gene, that is hemoglobin gene. The 6 Talen pairs, that is Talen Talen LR1, L1R1 Talen, L1R4, and so on. These are the 6 Talen pairs that are constructed for our Talen vectors. So to enhance the expression efficiency of plasmids L4 and R4, here L4 and R4 are just monomeric units of Talens. So in this to enhance the gene expression of these plasmids, what happens is that the CMV promoter gets replaced with CAG promoter and CAG promoter by using a restriction enzyme. So after getting replaced by CAG promoter, the name of the L4 and R4 changes to CL4 and CR4. Okay. To improve the transfection efficiency, the co-expression vector CR41 and CR4I L4 was constructed by utilizing an IRES site, that is internal ribosome entry site sequence, to link the two Talon monomers. To link these two monomers, that is L4 and R4, to construct this site, this co-expression vector. By joining the monomeric units of L4 and R4, we can create this co-expression vector. For Talens vector, we use HEK293T cell lines, which were basically cultured in DMEM media supplemented with 10% fetal bovine serum, that is FBS. And DMEM is basically Dibelco's modified eagle medium. I'm going to discuss about it later. In this slide, I'm going to talk about the mechanism, that was basically the points which were describing about the Talens vectors. So these are the monomeric units of Talen, that is L4 and R4, as you can see here. So the CMV promoter basically gets replaced by CAG promoter, and when it gets replaced by CAG promoter, the name of the L4 and R4 monomeric units changes to CL4 and CR4. After that, you can see we have FOC1 nucleases, which basically cuts the DNA and dimerizes. So now in the last, we get our co-expression vector C4IL4, and we have our monomers L4R4 which basically links these two Talon monomers by RIES, that is internal ribosome entry site. We have RIES here. With the help of RIES, we can link these two monomers of Talens. Now in this figure, the HBB gene, okay, the HBB mutation, okay, sorry, coming back to this diagram. So in this, the HBB gene, okay, the hemoglobin gene is shown here. So there is a mutation in hemoglobin gene at 654 C/T site, and that mutation is is in between exon 2 and exon 3, and what we have is HBB, that is hemoglobin gene 654 mutation is shown in red. So you can see here we have the mutation. So what happens is there is a C to T substitution. Okay, there is a C to T substitution. So what happens is that the cytosine gets replaced or substituted by thymine. So the thymine comes here, and it happens in between exon 2 and exon 3. And now, as you can see here, we have our DNA, double-stranded DNA. We have our monomeric Talens. Okay, and then in the red we have HBB gene. So when C is replaced with thymine, so the thymine has complementary nucleotide, that is A. So it gets it gets corrected. Okay, so what happens here is we basically have mutations in red, as I told you that hemoglobin gene mutation is shown in red, whereas the targeting sites are indicated by the purple lines. These lines, the purple lines, are indicated by targeting sites, okay, which dimerizes and causes a double strand break. Okay, so in this experiment we used HEK293 cell line, DMEM media and FBS media. So HEK293 is a mammalian cell line which is used because of their ease in transfection, as well as it is also used in the cell culture. Okay, so DMEM media, or Debelco's modified agar media, as mentioned earlier, is a widely used basal medium for supporting the growth of many different mammalian cells. Okay, fetal bovine serum is most widely used serum supplement for in vitro cell culture of for eukaryotic cells, and that is because they have very low level of antibodies, and it contains more growth factors, which allows for versatility in many different cell culture and applications. So this was about the Taylor's vectors, constructions of Taylor's vectors. Now in the next slide, I'm sorry. Okay. So in the next slide we'll be talking about, just a second. So in the next slide we will be talking about the results. So in the results section we have now in this slide we have results from experiments that was conducted on morphological changes in spleen and liver of transgenic mice. So here by transgenic mice I mean it is the mice which contains the TALEN mediated TALENs, as well as the defective beta thalassemia gene as well. Okay, so now the experiment was conducted on morphological changes in spleen and liver of transgenic mice. So to determine the positive therapeutic results, positive therapeutic results of TALENs mediated gene editing on hematopoiesis, the extent of splenomegaly and extramedullary hematopoiesis, that is EMH, were examined in TALENs mice, transgenic mice, the beta thalassemia mice, and the WT mice. So WT mice is nothing but it is known as wild type mice. So I included the result which talked about mice model, that talked about mice, because my research article was all about how TALENs is used for gene editing in beta thalassemia in mouse models. So I included this result. So to determine the positive therapeutic effects of TALEN mediated gene, I am going to talk about spleen. I am going to talk here about spleen size. So spleen size and weight of transgenic mice were reduced as compared with beta thalassemia mice. So the transgenic mice had small spleen size and had reduced spleen size, and the weight was also reduced as compared to beta thalassemia. Okay, the spleen coefficient, because here the spleen size and weight were reduced as compared to beta thalassemia mice, so the spleen coefficient of beta thalassemia mice is going to be greater than that of the transgenic mice. So this is what happens in the next point. The spleen coefficient of beta thalassemia mice was 3.6 fold higher than that of the transgenic mice that contain TALENs and beta thalassemia mice. So you can see here in the figure that the beta thalassemia mice has much more spleen coefficient than talons or transgenic mice. It has like 3.6 fold higher. It has 3.64 higher spleen coefficient than the transgenic one. So in the transgenic mice, we saw that there was an increase in white pulp, and it was also observed that there were low numbers of erythroid precursors, that is RBCs, and it was also seen that the marginal zones were distinct and were seen clearly. Unlike in beta thalassemia mice, the red pulp basically expanded and white pulp decreased, and indistinct marginal zones were not at all visible with the presence of nucleated RBCs. Now, the presence of hemosiderin in the spleens and levels of the talons transgenic mice was less than the beta thalassemia mice. So now here in this figure, I am going to talk about how this figure indicates that figure 1 indicates the improvement of spleen pathology in transgenic mice. So the figure, this first figure is for the transgenic mice that contains talons and beta thalassemia sequence. The second and third figure is for the wild type mouse, which basically this figure basically shows about the wild type mouse. The fourth and the fifth figure is about the beta thalassemia mice. So you can see that the talons mediated mice or the transgenic mice showed sustained or consistent improvement of the hematologic parameters and reduction of ineffective RBCs or erythropoiesis and extramedullary hematopoiesis, that is EMH, without any abnormalities. Okay, so this was about results. Now in the next slide, I am going to talk about conclusions and future directions of talons. Yes, what is the future? What is the future of talons? So basically, talons have primarily been used to disrupt human genes via introduction of NHEJ induced labels. NHEJ, as I explained earlier, that is non-homologous end joining. In the principle, such loss of function mutations could be used to create somatic cell-based models. It is basically used in gene therapy. It can be used for the study of the cell mutations of various organisms. Talons has also been used efficiently to modify plant genomes. They have been used for creating economically important food crops with with favorable nutritional qualities. They have also been harnessed to develop tools for production of biofuels. So NHEJ, I'm going to talk about NHEJ here. As I told you earlier, that NHEJ is a error-prone mechanism, and it is as it is an error-prone mechanism, it is not natural. So it is just used for repairing the double strand break in the DNA, because if we do not repair it and leave it like this, it will not be a good option. So this was all about the conclusions and the future directions of the talon genes. This genes is is new, and it is being used by scientists. So it will take in future it will be more widely used by scientists, and it is a good tool for gene editing. That was all for my presentation. Thank you so much. Thank you.